Dear participants, dear delegates, welcome on board. I apologize for the voice, a little bit of cold today for me, so that little down the voices. I apologize for this. Okay, welcome to the orientation program. Today is the orientation for Certified Objective and Key Result (OKR) professional course. OKR is one of the very, uh, I mean, upcoming and very emerging concept for business performance or organization goal achievement for the agile scenario. So there are some differences between the KPI and OKR, but it is not quite separate. It is cooperating each other, so that it will be very much helpful if someone can understand both the concepts and then go together. That will be a very helpful one. But nowadays, majority of the organizations are shifted from KPI based to OKR based, because the agility of the organization, uncertainty of the world. So the for the agile situation scenario, OKR is much more powerful tool for ensuring the performance in the organization. I mean, the business performance of the organization. So our resource person is very prominent in this particular area. He is from Sri Lanka, and he is quite, having a quite comprehensive understanding about OKR, and a consultant as well, so that he can talk as a pro. So combination of the theoretical part as well as his practical exposures will be there to enrich each and every sessions and every question answer particularly. So that this is a very good opportunity or great opportunity for the delegates of World Academy to join this course run by our honorable resource person. As I told you, he is a master on Agile project and also master on OKR. And so far, my understanding and knowledge is concerned, in this Asian region, he is one of the best OKR consultant. So we are really grateful to him, as he took this assignment with a very, minimum gaining, I should say. He just trying to help us and our delegates to become expert on OKR for contributing towards the bottom line of the organization. So I got the opportunity to attend one of the webinar of our resource person, and really I learned a lot. And he's talking, not in terms of the theoretical aspects only. He talks always, particularly the application phase, how you can apply this skill and what are the benefits you will be receiving from this. Okay, so I will take around more 5-7 minutes time. I'm just talking about the institute and the course administration procedures. After that, he will be talking regarding the curriculum itself. So World Academy is a UK based organization, and we are always beside the customers or the professionals for their professional development. And we are ISO certified organization. You see here the ISO certification, couple of ISO certification we do have, and these are the explanations of the ISO certification. And we are a globally operating organization right now. This is the global synopsis of World Academy. You can see here we are operating in 61 countries nowadays, and we are the member of American Accreditation Association, one of the very prestigious accreditation association in the world. And we are approved center by Cambridge Academy of Professional. And fortunately, this course, the certified OKR professional course, is also being validated by Cambridge Academy of Professional. And certification is a joint certification with Cambridge Academy and World Academy UK. We are the approved center by ProfQual UK. Our majority of the diplomas, professional diplomas, and postgraduate diplomas are validated by ProfQual, one of the, certification awarding bodies for higher education in UK. We are also approved center by Board of HR certification, that is particularly for HR certification areas in UK-based organization, and also approved provider of HR, CIS, HRM, and ATD. These are the three very prominent HR certification bodies in US. And we are SHRM Academically Aligned Institute, one of the very prestigious recognition from Society for Human Resource Management USA. They usually recognize universities in this particular criteria as academically aligned institute. But we are one of the, I mean, luckiest organization in the world. As an institute, we also receive the same recognition from SHRM for our postgraduate diploma in human resource management course. We are the accredited institute by International Professional Accreditation Council, which is a Singapore-based accreditation council for the organization and the courses. We are member for CPD certification service, member for CPD, also CPD group, and partner for Singapore Training and Development Association, partner of Institute of KPA Specialist, and partner of Academy of Business English and Communication. So these are the global synopsis of World Academy. And this course is validated by Cambridge Academy of Professional and presented by World Academy. That is the badge you will be receiving from Credly after successful completion of this course. So usually, Credly is issuing badges for giant institute like PMI, SHRM, HRCI, and so many. But we have also arrangement with them. They are also issuing badges for our courses as well. There is the sample certificate. After successful completion, you will receive this type of certificate where it will be mentioned like certified OKR professional. So that means this is a professional designation you will be using beside your name. Five modules. You can see 5 modules total, and then 8 sessions altogether. So the couple of sessions contain a single module as well. 4 months total duration time. We'll be conducting the sessions through the Zoom apps like today, and the same time and same day. I mean, every Friday the class will be online exam. You can attend the exam online. We also provide the books and materials, video tutorials, and live interactive learning management system. Job-oriented learning, focusing on the job-oriented issues or consulting roles issues, focus on competency framework, extensive practice. We will do practices during the session. Simulation exercises. Our trainers is always, as I told earlier, that he is very much expert on this particular area and having a very prominent consulting roles experience. Equipped with tools and formats, he will be guiding you how to apply this. And online lab session. Total 5 topics, 8 session, 2 hours each per session. And there will be final exam and capstone project. These are the modules. He will be talking about this modules details. So you can see for the first 3 sessions, 2 hours each. That means every session contain 1 module. And from the 4th module, OKR cycle, it needs 2 sessions. And for OKR implementation, it needs 3 sessions. So altogether, it is 5 modules and 8 sessions. The final exam is really multiple choice question based exam. We will try to do that. And then assignments, you need to submit a couple of assignments and also the capstone projects as well. So this is the marking framework, 3 module based or class based assignment and 1 capstone project and 1 final exam. For every part, you need to qualify separately. 70% is the qualifying marks. There will be review or question answer for every session. There will be final assignment capstone, and we cannot share the class recording, but there will be video tutorial for your review perspectives. And we will share the class material within 1 to 2 days time, the PDF version as well. And you will be notified through the WhatsApp group. There is a WhatsApp group for the participants. So they will be receiving notifications for any issues through the WhatsApp group. And electronic certificate, after successful completion, the electronic certificate will be issued within 1 to 2 weeks time. And the digital badge will be in the same time. The printed certificate, we used to issue 3 times in a year. I mean, for different countries, we will reach you through the guaranteed post. So you will receive your digital certificates, your printed certificates at the earliest slot in a year. So that's about the orientation, I mean, the course administration procedures from my sides. And our resource person is there. So he will be talking about the curriculum insights so that you can understand why this course is beneficial or important for you, why you need to take decisions to attend this course, and how this course will benefits you in your career as well as in the organizational contribution. Sir, please proceed.
All right, Rupa?
Yeah,
Good?
please.
Yep. All right. Thank you for that nice introduction as well, Rupa. And welcome all of you. Happy to be here speaking to you. Just giving a quick introduction to what we are up to. So let me start with a quick story, personal story. In terms of my career, I have 20 plus years of experience in terms of total work that I've been doing, out of which 10 plus years, around 12 years is on management experience. Now, here's a backstory. When I worked as a manager at a big bank, I was doing quite well, right? And from there, due to a bit of a crisis situation, a restructure happened in the organization. I happened to be, in a difficult situation where our team decided to manage out my whole team, right? So it was a kind of a big shock to me, and I was a bit of panicking there. With that panicking, so I wanted to kind of find a job outside, right? So I managed to secure a job, another management position outside with a 40% increment, right? When I joined the company, I worked there for like 1.5 years, and I found that I was the lowest paid manager, right? Despite I got a 40% increment on top of a senior manager salary. Now, this gave me a further shock to me, right? And that essentially told me, hey, Niroshan, you don't know what it is and what this market is all about, right? So from that point, I started raising my bar, like exploring into the management methodologies around agility, agile frameworks, as well as scaling organization level management frameworks. So this happened in somewhere in 2016, right? Even at that point, I wasn't using OKRs. Few years later, somewhere around 2018, I came across this particular management methodology, and from that point, I can tell you, right? I was able to raise my consultancy game hugely, right? And to put the figures so that you get a quick understanding what is possible with this magical tool, right? As coaches and consultants or managers, leads, your position might be any of these things within those roles, right? The potential you have is you can up your game, your consultancy and management game with this particular tool. So in terms of me, right, so I was able to raise my consultancy rates by 8 times high. And currently I'm consulting in one of the Maldivian state companies, which is basically pension administration office on OKRs. And one thing that I can surely tell you is this is a must-have management methodology for the next decade and more. And my prediction is that pretty much every company has to adopt this particular management methodology in the next decades to come. The reason is this actually cuts the fat that is there in a given organization. Right now, when I say fat, if you look at if you look at your own observations as a manager, as a lead, as a consultant, you will definitely agree with me that there are a lot of unnecessary management methodologies around these organizations, right? And my experience tells me, like, pretty much every organization that I have been working with, they've been failing miserably, right? Particularly around one area, that is goal setting and execution. Now, this is where one of the initial founders of OKRs, who kind of experimented this together with the founder of OKRs, who is Andy Crew, is the founder. There was one young person who was working with him from the initial time. That is John Doerr, right? John Doerr then joined Google with Larry Page, introducing OKR into the Google organization. And Larry Page, if you Google and see OKR and Google, right, or Larry Page, you'll find a lot of testimonials done by Larry Page talking about how critical it was for them to use OKRs and what's the impact and the benefits that they managed to achieve through OKR. So what John Doerr says is this, right? Planning setting goals is not that difficult. What is more challenging, what is game changing is execution. Now, two problems, right? One, planning. So if you look at how your organizations are planning at the moment, they might be using various management methodologies that can help them up to a level. Example, something like smart goals. It is widely used, like I think more than 70% of global companies, right? Corporate companies use smart goals for planning, which is fine, right? And this was introduced by one of the genius leaders called Peter Drucker. His way of, he named this particular management methodology as management by objectives, right? So basically, you manage everything through a set of objectives. Later, he himself made a statement, very bold statement, saying, although this is useful, I don't think this will solve your problems as organizations. Therefore, carefully use objectives in your organization. So he made that disclaimer because there are a lot of case studies done. Shortly, I'm gonna take your attention on one of the well-known case studies on scenarios where goals have failed. So he basically acknowledged that managing by objectives is not the ideal way to manage, right? So the founder Andy Grove initially used management by objectives, which is also known as MBO, for managing a set of projects, high-level projects, right? Later, he realized this is not going to be the ultimate game changer, or this is not going to optimally help. So from that point, he started researching and experimenting, and that is where he actually introduced this magical management methodology, objectives and key results. Right? It's a very simple term. It's a very straightforward management methodology. It sounds very easy, but it takes so much effort and energy to master it, right? And I have seen a lot of organizations are just thinking it is an extension, simple extension to the objectives because of the naming, right? It says objectives and key results. But it's more than that. It's not just an extension to the objectives. It is much more capable management methodology that actually changed the whole operating system of a given organization, right? So all in all, in this particular program, what you're going to learn is more than just a framework, more than just a way of setting goals. crafting those, but also, a set of tools and methodologies to change the whole organization, right? I have been working with very big companies, corporates, startups, and scale-ups using OKRs, helping these companies to adopt OKRs. And in all these companies, irrespective of the size, this has been a game changer, right? So therefore, I think look at it two ways. One, as an individual manager, individual consultant, individual coach, individual lead, how can I up my game? That's one aspect that I'll be helping you with, right? The second thing is if you get to work in any of these companies, startups to corporates, how can you help these organizations up their game, right? When I say up their game, it's primarily adjusting the whole operating system, the way the organization operates. So OKRs, which is also known as objectives and key results, is the ultimate management methodology that can replace every other management methodology, because this is a clear game changer for a lot of companies already, right? So if you look at companies like LinkedIn, Facebook, even X, right? The Twitter, formerly, and Intel, Google, right? Google is kind of one of the prominent major tech giants who is promoting OKRs hugely. And then a lot more. There are a lot of case studies done on the use cases and how beneficial OKRs works. And it's evident that the world is moving towards this management methodology. Now, that said, my observation is that within APAC, right, Asia Pacific countries, this has not been adopted really well as of now. Pretty much, every company, major company would have heard of the term, and they also think this is something that they need to adopt, but they haven't prioritized this. I see a very good trend in adopting this particular management methodology in American countries, American companies, as well as European companies, right? And as I said earlier, my prediction is that in the next decade, upcoming decade, this becomes a must-have management methodology for all of these companies. So in this program, we are going to take you through contents, right? The modules that will allow you to become an OKR practitioner, helping organizations to use this particular management methodology within the organization at all the levels, right? So this actually focuses on 3 levels. One is the strategic level, right? The second thing is the middle management, and third is the production teams. So all 3 levels can be improved. The way they work and their efficiency can be improved through this particular framework. So if you look at the modules as Ropak mentioned, the modules are primarily starting with the introduction and then talking about how to craft effective goals, giving you the anatomy, talking about how effectively you can craft these OKRs, right? And the steps. The third thing is OKR steps. So it's 1 session, 2-hour session, where we will take you through the essential steps that you have to take in terms of doing your objectives and key results. And one of the key differences between OKRs and any other goal setting framework is a cycle, right? This is the missing link in SMART goals. So if you have worked in organization using SMART goals, right, one of the big gaps that we have in terms of using objectives is we craft the objectives. We spend a lot of energy and time crafting the perfect objectives, right? But then we'll lose the touch, right? As soon as we cascade these objectives, they use the term cascading, cascade these OKRs to the organization and teams and individuals, they actually forget it, right? No follow-ups, no further reviews done. in terms of how these objectives are being adopted and followed, right? And they forget that for several months, and then at the end of the quarter or the year, they look at the objectives, and there was a huge.
Yeah, actually, you speaking too fast. I'm not really getting you. I say you are speaking too fast. Can you please lower your voice so that we can understand with the audience, please?
Sir, you are muted. You need to unmute.
Sorry?
Yeah, the participant said that I mean your pacing is little fast so that you can little bit of slow so that they can understand.
Sure. Okay, let me do
Okay,
that.
thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So basically, like, let me run through these modules, 5 modules, right? So the first we talk about the introductions. We give you all the fundamental knowledge that is required for you to understand what OKRs are, why this is used, what are the benefits, all that, right? And then we go into the writing aspect. We'll teach you how to write effective OKRs with the examples, with simulations done. Third, OKR steps in terms of setting, writing the objectives and key results and aligning with the organization and the teams. We will tell you what are the steps that you have to take, right? These are the recommended steps. You can adjust them, but these steps will be useful for you to adopt these OKRs effectively. Then the cycle. Now, OKR cycle is one of the key game changers. This is a key difference between objectives and key results. So, and any other management methodology. Like if you look at management by objectives, right? Generally, we call them as objectives. As that's one of the prominent management methodologies used so far by 70% or more companies in the world, right? And the founder, Peter Drucker himself, acknowledged that this is not the ideal management methodology, but despite that, a lot of companies keep using it, right? And wanting to do great, and a lot of companies just miserably failed just because of the wrong objectives, right? So we're going to talk about the cycle, the steps, cadences involved, and cadences that you need to adapt in terms of applying objectives and key results. Finally, we talk about the real implementation through a simulation. We'll take you through a really practical simulation where we will consider a scenario, a practical scenario. We craft the objectives and key results. We basically go from end to end, implementing it, right? So we'll show you what are the steps required, how exactly you can lead this discussion with your organization or any other organization, right? In a nutshell, this is basically the scope. So at the end of the program, I can assure as the facilitator that you should be able to up your value proposition as a coach, as a manager, as a consultant, right? When I say value proposition, it's monetary aspect as well as the true value perspective, right? Because the things that you're going to learn here is not just a tool, right? It's the underlying management framework that any organization can use to up their game, refine their operating system. It talks about all the aspects that the organization should be refining, right? Including the strategy. We talk about the strategy aspect, how to use OKRs to strategize, come up with a proper strategy, and then how do you align the roles and responsibilities. We introduce tools for each and every area. Example, for managing people, managing recruitments even, right? We will give you guidelines. And there is one tool that we introduced called accountability chart, right? Which is a huge gap. Like that, there are multiple tools and practices that you're going to learn through this particular program. And at the end of the program, you will be equipped with much better tools and practices as a manager and a consultant or a coach. Second, you will be able to start working as a practitioner for your organization and any other outside organization. So if you have consultancy exposure already, right, you might as well include this into your consultancy package, right? So I can give you whatever the guidance that you require in terms of upgrading yourself into that. Yeah. So in a nutshell, this is basically what we intend in achieving through this program.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your brief explanation about the course insights as well as the benefits from this course. So, dear delegates, is there any question from your end regarding the administration procedure or regarding the curriculum or learning points? Any questions so far? Okay.
So, what is the relation between or difference between MBU and OKR? MBU and OKR.
Cool.
Okay.
That's a good question. Yeah. So MBO was the starting point of OKRs. So here's the story, right? When Andy Grove, who is the father of OKRs, who is the founder of OKRs, worked at Intel in 1990s, and he was using MBOs, management by objectives. Generally, you plan through objectives, right? So the problem with the objectives is they don't give you sufficient clarity for you to execute. Objectives are great in defining the direction, right? But you will not be able to define your milestones or the outcomes just using objectives, right? And therefore, there are multiple case studies done. So if you can, let me put this, right? You can read this offline. Put that to the chat.
Sure.
So there was this paper done, research paper done by Harvard Business School, where they named it "The Goals Gone Wild," right? The Goals Gone Wild. So they basically looked at a lot of case studies. Why, as much as you want goals to help you grow, how can goals go wild, right? How can goals disrupt your teams and organizations, right? Not allowing you to achieve what you intend to achieve. Now, there are very interesting case studies done there, right? So on top of objectives, now we use objectives in OKRs, right? That's one element, not everything. So on top of objectives, which is a direction, we define outcomes. So the gap there in the management by objectives is we just define a direction and we try to execute the plan, right? So there the problem is the teams have their own assumptions and conclusions, which is not accurate. Therefore, the outcome might be very different to what you expected, right? It's something like this, right? So if I ask you, okay, tell me what you want to achieve in this particular orientation, all of you will have something to say, right? You generally end up this answer, right? Answering my question, what do you want to achieve, with one-liner statement, which is an objective. It's a direction, right? That's not sufficient enough for you to ensure you achieve the optimum result. So what the objectives and key results do is it actually introduces another layer where you define the key results, right? Key results will define the milestones that you want to achieve in terms of achieving your direction. Something like, a company would say, we want to be the #1 seller in the APAC region. That's the direction. Right? Sorry? Hello? Leon, you have a question or you were just speaking? No, okay, no. Yeah, so the difference is that, right? So objectives key results is the upgraded version of MBOs. MBOs have a lot of loopholes and OKRs have kind of answered those loopholes. And there are multiple benefits, right? So kind of aligning across the organization, then just cascading down the goals, going into the key results and defining the milestones clearly, defining a cycle, set of cadences that allows you to review regularly and ensure you adjust. There are multiple benefits that objectives and key results can give you, will give you.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other question from anyone? No. All right. So the notification, the class will be starting from the coming week, 29 November. So that we will notify in the group as well again. So hopefully we can start the class, formal class on 29. And before that, from tomorrow itself, there will be a pre-course assignment available in the portal. So you can, you will be, those who have already completed their enrollment, they receive the portal access. So you can go to the dashboard and you will find the pre-course assignment. So you can submit it before the first session. And for your information, the pre-course assignment is just only for the learning purposes. It is nothing related with the assessment. So the first class will be on 29 November. And the humble submission to you, if you feel that the course is really worthy for the professionals to meet up the challenges of the coming worlds, you can share through your network. We will update the flyer that the class will be starting from 29. So you can share this flyer through your timeline. So your network can also be aware about this course and they can also be benefited from this course. With that humble submission, we can conclude it here today. Again, we are grateful to our honorable speaker and the facilitator for this course for your time. And of course, we will be gaining a much more, updated and modern knowledge and expertise on this particular issues from you. And of course, the people who have joined today with their busy schedule, we're also grateful to them as well. And thank you very much for your participation and for your time as well.